the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real wealth is being real with self. My eyes done seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real wealth is being real with self. My eyes done seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can do it by myself, so I'm asking for help.
Money. All you have is money. Being wealthy. Like Kanye West says, having money is not everything. Not having it is. Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives us the ability to create wealth. No, it's the love of money that's Deuteronomy. You don't like money so much, why you get up and go to work? Yeah, I do think about money. I'm just trying to leave a legacy for my son. Not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. Now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial health mentor to the working class, H Cortez.
Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Periscope. Good morning, Facebook, wherever you're checking out the show. I am your main man, H Cortez, and thank you so much for checking out Talking Money in the Morning Live, the show that's designed to bring practical, proven wealth-building strategies specifically to and for working class Americans. I am, again, H Cortez, wealth-building strategist, author, entrepreneur, father, youth basketball coach. The many hats just go on and on and on. But at the end of the day, I am here to uplift, motivate, and encourage you to be your best self. And when you do that, you can be your best self in your area of finances as well. And we know that money answers all things, according to the book I read. So welcome again to the show. If you are joining us for the first time, you're in for a treat. We got a great show planned for you today, but let me just go over who this show is for. This show is for all of my hustlers out there. If you're rising and grinding every day, if you're putting in that work, not only at your job, but in your own business, if you understand the power of building a legacy for your family and the importance of that, this show, my friend, is for you, because I'm going to give you some tips that's going to help you from your mindset, standpoint. I'm going to give you some tips that you can practically apply from a strategic standpoint. I'm going to give you some tips that you can use fundamentally from a psychological standpoint. I'm going to help you understand how the money game really works so that you can apply it in your life and get the results that you want to get. But guess what? Let me also say who this show is not for. If you have a problem with money, and the fact that I have just said money 16 times, then this show ain't for you, because that's all we talk about on this show is money, 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 money. I myself do not believe there is a problem with money or pursuing wealth. Some people do, and if you have that problem, that's probably why you don't have any. Because when you have a problem with money, a strange relationship with money, you tend to repel it away from you instead of attract it to you. So I get it. This show isn't for everybody, and that's perfectly all right. But if you are that rising grinder, if you are that hustler, you are trying to figure out how to make this thing work for you and your family, then stick around, because I'm going to give you some tips to help you with that. Today's show is all about the portrait of a millionaire and why Hollywood has it wrong, but at the same time, Hollywood has it right. And we're going to talk about that in just one moment. But before we do, let me give a shout out to my major sponsor for today's episode, and that is Young Biz Kids. That's right. Young Biz Kids is a nonprofit organization here in the St. Louis area where we teach entrepreneurship to children. And when I say entrepreneurship, I'm talking about the full suite of entrepreneurship, from branding, marketing, pitching, sales, all of that stuff we teach these young kids, because we want kids to understand that there is an option. Entrepreneurship is an option, and not just teach them about how to get a job and work for someone else. Now, does that mean that all these kids are going to grow up and have their own business? No, but that's not the point. The point is for you to understand that entrepreneurship is an option at a young age. And you never know, one of these kids may grow up to be the next Bob Johnson, the next Damon John, the next Bill Gates, the next Warren Buffett, just because we're planting seeds in them at a young age. So if you want to know more about Young Biz Kids, go over to their website at www.youngbizkids.org. Again, that's www.youngbizkids.org. You'll find found out about the Young Biz Kids Marketplace that's going to take place on August the 6th. So now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to take a swig of water here, and we're going to get right into today's show. I'm super excited to share with you guys today. All right, so we're talking today about the portrait of a millionaire, why Hollywood has got it right and why Hollywood has gotten it all wrong. Well, the truth be told, Hollywood likes to portray what a millionaire is in the sense that they show you these lavish lifestyles, right? They show you all of the glitz and the glam of what it means to be wealthy or to be a millionaire. But I'll be honest with you, that is not what a real millionaire looks like. And the reason Hollywood got it wrong is because they don't show you what a typical American millionaire looks like. They show you what their picture of a millionaire looks like, so that what you will do is basically get into more consumerism the more your income goes up, right? And they want you to buy trash versus assets. And the only way to become wealthy in America is to get in the habit of buying income producing assets. So we're going to bring a lot of the information to you guys from this book, The Millionaire Next Door. When I read some of these statistics about what a typical American millionaire looks like, it just flat out blew my mind. So I'm going to share some of these things with you, some of my favorite ones. But in this book, they talk about a particular slogan called Big Hat, No Cattle, as coined in Texas. And basically, that is what most of America is doing. Big Hat, No Cattle simply means that you're walking around looking like a cowboy or a rancher, but you actually don't have the ranch or the cattle. And what we do in America, and that's why Hollywood plays such a major part in this, is we walk around looking like $1 million, but we'd have nothing in our bank account or in our asset column that gets us close to $1 million. In fact, most millionaires do not wear $1,000 suits. They do not wear $1,000 watches. They do not wear $1,000 shoes. But guess who does? All of the people that work for them who are not millionaires, right? Isn't that something? Because we're giving off the facade that we want to appear to be wealthy. See, in this country, we've gotten really good at struggling, and we've gotten really good at covering up the fact that we're struggling. And if you're going to be wealthy, you're going to have to take a good long look in the mirror and be honest with yourself, Periscope, and let people know, or be honest with yourself and let yourself know that it's okay to be where you are. You just want to figure out how to move from that place. Hopefully that makes sense to all of you guys. So let me get into a couple of some of my favorite deals that you probably wouldn't suspect or know about a millionaire. First of all, let me say this: 80% of all millionaires in America today are first generation wealthy. What that simply means is that these people were not handed down an inheritance, and that's where they got their wealth. These were not people who, had a silver spoon in their mouth. These are not people who hit the lottery. These are not. We're not including the basketball players and entertainers and football players, athletes, and that. No, we're talking about people who pull themselves up by their bootstraps, found themselves in some sort of business, and learn how money is the money game is played, and start building and buying income producing assets with a little bit of money that they did have. Some of these people came from very poor backgrounds. Some of them came from middle class. Some of them were from upper middle class, but they were not given a large inheritance to get them started. They basically pinch their pennies, put them together, and start creating some habits that led them to become wealthy in a single generation. Now their children will have an inheritance passed to them, and that's what it's all about. That's what I'm all about, is building a legacy for my 5 sons so that they can carry on and not have to start from scratch. So many times we have to start over And sometimes we even start from less than zero, meaning our parents pass down debt to us instead of an inheritance or a legacy. So we want to change all that. And that's why you guys are tuned into the show today. So again, super proud to have you be a part of the show. I'm glad that you're tuning in. So let's get into some of these things that you wouldn't really think about when it comes to what you think about when you think about millionaires. It says a typical millionaire is a 57-year-old male, married with 3 children. About 70% of those people earn 80% or more of the household's income. So that leads us to another one with about half of these people, wives do not work outside of the home. All right. And I thought that was pretty cool because my wife doesn't work outside the home, right? Not because I'm a millionaire yet, because she lost her job. And that's why I grind so hard at my hustle. And thankfully that I did have a hustle. I am building a business. So when she did lose her job, there was no stress on her to get out into the working force right away. And it's looking like she's not going to have to go back to work ever again. So it's because of the hustle. It's not because the economy. It's not because of, something that is out of our control. It's something that we've done. We're building a business that provides an additional stream of income that basically replace the income that she was bringing in on her job. So she may not have to go to work, but I thought that was pretty cool when I read that 50% of millionaires today's wife do not work. And those that do work outside of the home, their wives are teachers. I just thought that was pretty funny too. They have an average household net worth of about $3.7 million, right? What is your net worth looking like today? All right. Is it even a positive net worth, or is it a negative net worth? Right. So you have to ask yourself these kinds of questions. If you are have a mortgage on your house, chances are you're in a negative net worth right now. But don't fret. Admit where you are. Start finding the information that you need to get you up from there. First thing that you do when you find yourself in a hole is you stop digging. Right. You stop digging. Then the next thing that you do, you start climbing. Right. So that's what, but before you can do that, you have to first admit that you're in a hole. So some of you guys have negative net worth. I have a negative net worth right now. I'm not ashamed to say it. I know where I am. I just have a plan to get me out. And you can have that same plan too if you want to learn more about what I'm doing and how you can partner with me. I'll give you some details at the end of the show. So I thought that was pretty cool. 3.7 million is the average net worth of these people. Now, what you have to understand about the net worth, that doesn't mean they're making $3 million a year. That just means they have valuable assets that will total about 3.7 million a year. In fact, it talks about most of them have an annual taxable income of about $131,000 a year. See, it's not about what you make, it's about what you keep. So what they're doing with that $131,000 a year is they're taking a huge chunk of that every year and buying income producing assets that are increasing in value each and every year. My friend, it doesn't matter how much money that you make right now, you can do the very same thing. You just have to establish the habit and practice what we call cash, asset, cash. Every time you get your hands on some cash, you buy, build, or invest in some sort of income producing assets that's going to bring back to you more and more cash. And when that's the habit, you continue to repeat that cycle, and that's how you get wealthy. Even if you're only spent or investing $5, $10, $15, $20 in an asset every time you get paid, then that eventually is going to continue to compound because that asset is going to bring back more cash. So it's not about how much you make, it's about what you're doing with what you make so that you can turn it into even more. All right. So that's about 97% of these people are homeowners. Guys, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with renting a home. I'm just saying what the portrait of a millionaire looks like. 97% of these people are homeowners. They live in homes that are currently valued at an average of about $320,000. Now, did I say a 10,000 square foot mansion? Right? Did I say a 7-car garage? Did I say these people are living in homes with bowling alleys and things of that nature? No, modesty, modesty, modesty. These people are living in a basic, everyday run-of-the-mill home, but they have a net worth of about $3.7 million. All right, so understand something. Don't get caught up in what Hollywood is showing you what a millionaire looks like, right? Those people tend to go broke very, very quickly, trying to maintain the picture of what Hollywood shows a millionaire looks like. We're talking about the picture of what a real millionaire looks like. All right, so don't get caught up in that. Again, 80% of them are first generation wealthy. Again, if you're starting from the bottom, you can become wealthy in a single generation. All right, especially if you're looking to partner with me. I have a strategy that can put you on the pace to be first generation wealthy in 3 to 5 years, but you have to be really aggressive, and you have to be really serious, and you have to be really disciplined to execute the game plan. And I'll tell you more about that, how you can get information on that at the end of the show. And then it says, we live well below our means. We wear inexpensive suits and drive American-made cars. What is that about? Here's the funny thing. If you're just joining us, welcome to the show. I am H Cortez, financial health mentor to the working class. We're talking about the portrait of a millionaire, and today's Talking Money in the Morning live show. So we just talked about a few things that millionaires do, and the fact that most millionaires live very modestly. They don't wear $1,000 suits and watches and shoes, but the people who work for them do, and those people aren't millionaires, right? In this book, we're talking about the millionaire next door. So it gives some startling statistics about what a millionaire really looks like versus what a millionaire is not, and how you can game plan to get there. So I'll put a link to where you can grab a copy of this book from one of my websites. I'll earn a small commission on that, but really I just want you to get the information and get this book used. I think I got this one used for about $2 or something. So the information never changes. So whether I got this book brand new or whether I got it used, the information in the book is the same. So we're talking about a portrait of a millionaire. So we talked about the fact that 97% of them are homeowners, living in their homes for 20 years. So they were able to get appreciation in their home because they're not moving every 3 to 5 years trying to upgrade their homes. We talked about they have an average net worth of about 3.7 million. That doesn't mean that they are making $3 million a year. That means they own assets that are worth about 3.7, almost 4 million. Says their average income is about $131,000 per year. It's not about what you make, it's about what you do with what you make or what you keep. They're taking a large percentage of that income every year and they're buying income producing assets with it. You can do the exact same thing. Talk about half of them have wives that don't work outside of the home. My wife doesn't work outside of the home, so I believe I'm onto something. I'm on my way to becoming a millionaire, right? You know, it talks about most of them are males in their mid-50s. So guess what, guys? If you're 41 or around my age, guys, you can get to that millionaire, that 7-figure mark by the time you're 50. That's a significant mark, because in other books that I've read from Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich talks about where people, men tend to hit their stride right about 40, 45, 50 years old, and that knowledge that they've accumulated really starts to compound when they hit about 50, and that's why their net worth kind of skyrockets right about that age. Well, I'm going to give you a strategy and a game plan that you can start hitting that at a much earlier age. Is the fact that people typically don't learn what I teach till they get about 40, 45, 50 years old. But if you're 20, 21 years old listening to this broadcast, then I can give you a game plan where you can hit that 7-figure mark by the time you're 30. It's just about the information and when you accumulate or acquire that information. So we're talking about the portrait of a millionaire, guys. You can do this. You can have a 7-figure net worth in little time, less time than you think. We're also talking about the fact that Hollywood has it wrong in a sense. They're painting a picture of what someone who is wealthy looks like, so that you can be caught up in a consumer spending cycle as someone who is getting money. We don't want you to do that, because that's not real. Real millionaires don't do that. Yes, you have some who live an extravagant lifestyle, but we're talking about people who are typical American millionaires, live very modestly, live way below their means. It said most of our wives are planners and meticulous budgeters, right? You have to have a target for every dollar that leaves your house. That's what's going to get you to where you are. So maybe you're not making $131,000 a year like their average annual income. Maybe you're only making $50,000 a year. Well, guess what? You become a meticulous budgeter and you can start finding the money that you need to start acquiring income producing assets. That's the name of the game. It's not about how much money you make. It's about what you're doing with that money. Are you buying assets? Are you using the cash asset cash? Or are you using the cash trash more trash? Meaning you take your cash, you go buy a handbag that's not going to increase in value. That's going to become trash. And then you keep doing that. So you're doing cash, trash, more trash. Instead of cash, asset cash. You can take your cash and buy stock in the companies that produce the handbags, and that's going to bring you back more cash. So when your girlfriends are talking about, hey, I got the latest Michael Kors or whatever the latest bags is, you can be saying, yeah, I got the latest Michael Kors stock. So keep on buying them bags, because every time you buy one, you're helping me. You're putting money in my pocket, right? That's the attitude and mentality that you have to have if you're serious about building wealth. Here's the one that's interesting. I teach that everybody should have an emergency fund. A mini emergency fund is $2,000 to $3,000 where you can get your hands on it, but in a place that you can also earn some interest on it. And I'm not talking about a savings account or money market account. We're usually talking about a municipal bond fund where you can have access to that money, but you can get a 6-7% rate of return in a municipal bond fund versus 1 to 2% in a money market account and less than 1% in a savings account. Right? That's a mini emergency fund. And then we talk about having a full emergency fund, right? A full emergency fund is 6 to 12 months of your living expenses, right? Now, they've upped it a notch because they have what's called a go to hell fund, right? What is a go to hell fund? A go to hell fund is when you have enough money that they can live. It says, we all have a go to hell fund. In other words, we have accumulated enough wealth to live without working for 10 or more years. I'm going to say that again. We all have a go to hell fund. In other words, we have accumulated enough wealth to live without working for 10 or more years. Right? Most working class people cannot go without working for 1 to 2 weeks before their stuff starts to fall apart. So we're talking about the portrait of a typical American millionaire. Guys, be honest. Type in the chat if you know that this is not what you believe a typical millionaire to be, right? Because when I started reading and researching and studying this stuff, I was a little bit floored myself. But here's the thing. And notice I said studying, because if you want to be something or do something, then understand you're going to have to study that thing. So I study wealthy people. I study wealth principles. I study money and how it works. I study financial strategies. And that's why I teach this stuff. I'm hoping to inspire you to start studying, because you can't become something that you don't study, that you don't learn about, that you don't know about. So a lot of us are talking about becoming wealthy, but we've never picked up a book on wealth strategies. We never listened to a podcast on how to get money. We never listened to a motivational CD on how to get your mindset right to accumulate wealth and things of that nature. So that's why I do this show each and every morning, guys, so that you can literally be inspired, encouraged, uplifted, and motivated to get up, get out, and get something. In the words of one of my favorite rap groups, Outkast. A couple more, because we're getting down to the bottom of the hour. But that go to hell fund is nice. And then only about 17% of us or our spouses ever attended a private elementary or a private high school, right? What does that mean, people? That means that these people went to regular public schools just like you did, just like I did. All right. It wasn't, they didn't have a fast track education that put them on the road to wealth. They had an internal burning desire to leave a legacy for their family. That's what they had. All right. That's what motivated, that's what pushed them. So they didn't get a special education that led them down the path to building wealth. So understand that. Now, but about 55% of their children do attend private schools because they can afford to send them. All right. So having a private school education is not mandatory to become wealthy. That's what I'm saying. Let's see. Oh, and here's the other one. We're talking about cash, asset, cash. On average, we invest nearly 20% of our household realized income each and every year. Right. So for every $100 that comes into their household, they're taking $20 and buying, building, or investing in some sort of income producing asset that's going to bring them more cash. It's going to appreciate in value. That's the habit that you have to establish if you're going to be wealthy. Now, there's a few more in there that I like, but we're running out of time, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this today. We're talking about the portrait of a millionaire, a real typical American millionaire. That's why this book is called The Millionaire Next Door, because chances are you're living next to a couple of them. They're getting up, going to work. Most of them are self-employed. So you are looking at them going to work in their plumber truck, but you don't realize they own the plumbing business, right? That's the difference, all right? Having the mentality to really build wealth versus go to work for someone else. All right. And then understanding what to do with the income that you do currently have. So even if you're working a job, there's nothing wrong with that. But are you buying, building, or investing in income producing assets every time you get paid? You should definitely be doing that. But how can you do that unless you're researching what an income producing asset is? You have to start understanding the language of money. You have to start understanding the language of wealth. You have to start understanding the habits of wealthy people. And you do that by picking up books like this, right? One of my investments that I contribute to every time I get my hands on some money is I'm buying a book of this sort. I'm buying a podcast or a downloadable MP3 of something that's going to stimulate my mind towards building wealth. So guys, again, thank you for coming to hang out with me. I'm your man, H Cortez. We're getting down to the bottom of the hour. Again, I want to shout out my sponsor for today's show, Young Biz Kids. Go to www.youngbizkids.org. It's a nonprofit organization that is teaching entrepreneurship to kids. If you want to make a donation to a cause as worthy as that, your tax deductible donation, you can go to that website and just click on Contact Us and reach out to Ariel Biggs, the founder of the organization. She'd love your contribution. If you're in the local St. Louis area and you have kids that have the entrepreneurial spirit, you can see it in them already, then go ahead and get them surrounded by other kids of a like mind and get them in a program where they're going to be tutored and that spirit is going to be nurtured in them versus sending them to school only. School, I will guarantee you, will kill that spirit in them. And we don't want that for our young people. So again, I told you that if you want to partner with me, I'm aggressively expanding my financial education franchise. You can partner with me by going to www.hcortezthornton.com, or one even easier to remember, just go to financialhealthmentor.com, put in your best email address, and I will email you. And then all you have to do is respond to that email, say, hey, I want to expand with your franchise opportunity. And I will get you the information on what it is that you need to do in order to do that. But we're aggressively expanding nationwide. So if you want a business in the financial education space where you can teach these strategies, motivate, uplift, and encourage people in the area of finance, then this may be a good opportunity for you. So we are at the bottom of the hour, guys. Again, thanks for coming to hang out with us. You're checking out episode number 7, Portrait of a Millionaire. Tomorrow's episode, we'll be talking about debt and how it's robbing you of your wealth. So until tomorrow's show, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. So I'm H Cortez, financial health mentor to the working class. I'm out. Peace.